guys, welcome to another video tutorial with me, Clarice. In this video we are going to learn my quick and easy way to paint ladybells. And for supplies we're going to be using the following colors. Let's start off with colors. I'm using my olive green, hooker's green, quinacridone magenta, and the cobalt violet. For brushes, I'm using my Princeton Velvetouch Petals number 6, and then the round number 6 from their Neptune collection. Oh, by the way, my colors are Daler-Rowney, the set of 48. For paper, I'm using my Zen Art Supplies 100% cotton paper. And that's all we need to use. Before I begin the tutorial on how to do this really pretty dainty flower, I want to remind you guys, please remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as it really does help my channel grow and I am able to make more videos like this for you guys. Alright, so let's begin. So the first thing I'm going to do is using my Petals brush, I'm going to get some of that olive green directly from the color cake on here, and then using the nice fine pointed tip that this brush gives us, I'm going to do my stem first, then do the tiny little bits at the top, and we'll do the flowers at the end. So starting off, I want my flower to look, or my stem to look whimsical. So instead of just making it straight, I'm going to sort of give it a curve, lightly touching and then pressing down as we go lower. And this way I get nice fine pointed tip at the top and also thinner top, and we get the thicker base as we go down. Now I'm just going back in and adding a couple of strokes of green within my stem just to give it a little bit of a two-tone effect, and I'm also kind of thickening up just the top of the stem a little bit, leaving some white space in between. We want to leave this stem to look whimsical and loose in nature, and that's why I am doing what I just did. Next thing I want to do, I'm just going to get some of that darker color and drop that in as well. In fact, we could have just finished off with the olive first before dropping in some of the darker color. This way you're not washing your brush off constantly, but since I've already gone ahead, washed off my brush, I'm going ahead and doing this. Okay, now because we've got some of this color already, I'm going to start off by doing some of the, pause right there. We're going to wash off the brush because it's always best to start off with the light color first and then build up by adding a darker color. So I'm just getting some of the olive green, and I'm going to use the same brush to kind of paint these tiny little buds at the top and then at the sides. So you can actually start off using the tip of your brush to draw that little line and then end off with doing a little bit of a bud shape at the bottom. This is why I absolutely love this brush. It gives you all these little, I was going to say amenities, but it's not an amenity. It's all these features that the brush allows for all these features as you're painting. And so that's why I kind of really like the organic shapes it gives us. Now as I'm going lower, I'm starting from the bud first, then attaching it to the center. You can even feel free to add some just over the stem itself. Just really make it loose and fun instead of trying to perfect it to make it look like a realistic photo. So that's how I've started at the top. Now as I'm going lower, what I'm going to do is wash down my brush. So I'm getting a little bit more water on my brush for these next few bits that I'm doing. So I'm really watering down the color that I have on my brush, and I'm painting these little green buds in because you want that gradual dark to light situation happening. Now I'm watering it down some more because now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a couple more of these very loosely. And then I'm adding in some of my quinacridone magenta. So washing off the brush, I'm getting some of that magenta, and I'm using the same brush. And I got a little bit of water on here, but I'll tackle that in a bit. Before it dries off, I'm just adding some of the color over the green I'm wanting that color to sort of blend in so it gives me a nice beautiful pink to green mix. Adding some in the back as well. And we're going to go ahead and continue doing this. So same way that we did the green buds at the top, I'm going to now create these pinkish looking ones. And as we go downward, I'm just going to sort of phase off because the rest of the stem will have more fuller looking flowers that are opened as opposed to just the little buds. So now I'm going to, I've zoomed in so you can see better. I'm getting my number 6 and I'm going to get some of the cobalt violet. And I'm adding some of that within these areas here. I'm just kind of trying to mix it in with the damp buds that we have so far, ever so lightly and slightly. Same thing here. And white space is your friend, so as you're doing these little buds, as you're forming them, make sure you leave a little bit of white space in between. During this time, I'm also going to get some of that green ready on my brush. So all I'm doing is getting some green stems at the tips of these flowers that we've just painted. Very loosely, we're not going for anything super crazy. I'm adding a little bit of like tendril kind of peeping elements to the base of the flower as well. The fine point tip on this Petals brush gives us that advantage, which is what I love about it as well. We've got a nice beautiful blend. I'm going to continue creating the flowers. Now for our main flowers, the bell-shaped flowers, I'm going to start off with doing a U. So just watch as I go along. I'm going to start off, I'll do one over here. So here's my little U situation. And then I'm getting a little bit more color, dropping that in at the base, and I'm curving these outward. Just 2 little curves, and then adding a little bit more of a frill to the base of the flower here. At this point, if you want to throw in some of that quinacridone magenta, just to sort of give it a nice little mix of color before it dampens or dries off, now is the perfect time. And then using the leftover color, we continue creating more of these little bell delicate flowers. So first the U and then do the little curve at the end. Dip your brush in water, do the base curvature of it, and then, like I mentioned previously, fluctuate and get that second color in here. And voila, you've got your little bell flower. Move the color around, of course, and then you go back in and get some of the green for the bottom. It's simple as that. It does require you to get a little bit of brush control happening and some deciphering in terms of how much is too much water and when to go in to get that nice bleed, because all the bleeding and the beautiful blending that we get here requires us to get this while it is still damp. And so now we kind of just continue. Keep in mind, if you do want to highlight certain areas to really make it prominent, now is the time to get that in. So I'm getting some of that purple and I'm dropping that in right at the base of the flower here. And if you feel like you would like to get some frills or like some very clear understanding of where there's a curve in the flower, you can guide the color along the flower. And this way you've got more of a telltale factor happening within your floral. So now using the same purple quinacridone, sorry, not quinacridone, cobalt violet, I'm going to continue creating more of these little flowers as we go downward, maybe 2 more, and then we will be done. So I'm going to do that U shape that I mentioned, do a little curve at the end, and then do a little frill at the bottom, leaving some white space between the top and the bottom here. I'm not adding any pink over here just because I want that gradual pink to purple situation happening. And then here we go, another one on this side. Don't fixate too much on the shape, just as long as you got that little curve and the little V or U happening. the curving outward, white space in between to kind of indicate this is where the flower opens up, you're good to go. And then fluctuating to my the olive green. I'm getting some green to the base of my flowers with the tiny little tendril elements. These, again, the Petals brush is perfect for this, but if you have a number 1 or a 0, that works just as well. Now these have a lot of these little tendril-like elements at the base, so I'm just sort of fluffing by adding little lines here and there, and that's all we really need. So we got that beautiful light to dark happening. Okay, so carrying on, I'm going to do one more, like I mentioned. And then one here. And then this time I'll get a little bit of that pink and just drop that in, just to give it a little bit of a tie in. And then swatching back to the purple. And we are pretty much done. Back to my petals and olive green, dropping these little tendril elements to the base of the flower before it dries off. As and when you feel your brush is too dry and it's not giving you a nice sweep of color, just dip the tip of your brush in water and you should be good to go. And there you have it. We've got our strand of ladybells. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Let me know if you had any questions, and if you end up painting this, I would love to see how this turns out. So please tag me on social media. My handles are listed below. I am on Facebook and Instagram. And once again, if you found this helpful, please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, as it really does help my channel grow. Thanks guys for watching, and we will chat very, very soon. Thank you. Bye.